Social media is a bitch, CrossFit. Do you not understand that someone can post something and then it filters around everywhere and then the entire world's going to see it and all it's doing is eroding at your integrity? Alright, so quick note, I have the entire video done, made up and ready to go, and I have since spoken to Viktor, and Viktor has watched the video, and Viktor has confirmed with me that his team is allowed to compete, but he is not allowed to compete on the team. So while this entire video is still valid, the team will be competing. CrossFit has not invalidated the team, but they are using the alternate to compete in his place. The video still has a lot of validity because Viktor should be the one competing. Know that as you're watching this entire video. He should be the one competing on the team that is competing. Here we go. Yo. So many of you guys know I make videos because I want videos to get views, right? And the thing about right now is the semifinals are going on. So everybody's attention is way over looking at the semifinals. You'll see 20, 30,000 people are watching those things live. I'm about to bring something up that needs a lot of attention. It's gotten a lot of attention. And I'm really worried that I'm going to put this thing out and it's not going to gain the traction that it needs to gain. A lot of you guys have sent this thing to me and I was like, shit, the semifinals are going on. It's not going to gain enough traction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post it at night. I'm going to post it after everything's over. It's going to be a Saturday night. Yeah, people are probably out and I know how this all works. But at the beginning of this, I'm going to do something I never do and tell you guys, hey, share it, send it around, see what you can do to help this gain some traction the same way that it's kind of picking up steam on Instagram. And that is the case of Viktor Langsved and his team, CrossFit Nordic Original. There are two CrossFit Nordic teams, CrossFit Nordic and CrossFit Nordic Original. CrossFit Nordic Original finished 14th in the worldwide quarterfinal leaderboard as a team. They are supposed to be competing in strength and depth the next weekend. And I say supposed to be because apparently CrossFit has snuffed out that opportunity. They're no longer going to be competing next weekend. Why? They've deemed that Viktor is not a legitimate member of this team. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the exact post, page by page, 10 pages of it by Viktor, and I'm just going to kind of summarize it, and then I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I think about each of these pages. So in the first page, he addresses that as, hey, Curtis and CrossFit HQ. I'm assuming that Curtis is somebody that he's been in contact with in relation to this entire situation. First page basically states that he wanted to thank the team for letting them compete up until this point, and that he wanted to have a final word about his disqualification status about this year's season and his team. He states that he's been close to making the games just about every single year since 2014, and then that this year he was reached out to by Alexander and Antonia to see if he wanted to be a part of the team to make the game. He said that the goal was to be top 5. I know exactly what this is like. I mean, it harkens back to me when I was trying to go individual 2016, 2017, and I remember the team dynamic changed. It was teams of 4, and I was all aboard. I was like, all right, guys, let's do this. Let's like really make a push to make it to the games. This is going to be sweet. So it appears that Viktor, in his case here, goes, okay, you know, these guys are all aboard. CrossFit Team Nordic Original. We have a good shot at podiuming at the games, maybe. It's a cool prospect. So this was during the pandemic. During the pandemic was like end of 2019, beginning of 2020. So he was already in talks of doing this entire thing. Now the year is 2022. He's been thinking about it with him, Antonia, and Alexander for 2 years. On the next page, he says that he understood that in this period of time, he had to be playing by the rules. 100% does not mean that our training had to be the best, but we knew that we had to follow the rule book. So what he did is him and his wife, Sophie, they replanned their whole life, work, training, time, family, dogs, and everything. They lived 90 minutes away and they wanted to make sure that they were playing by the rules. They've been thinking about this since the pandemic, 2 years ago, mind you. And it's because they were thinking about this that a lot of the stuff I'm going to bring up is very important. They've been thinking about it. They wanted to make sure that if they were reached out to by CrossFit, they had all of their I's dotted and T's crossed. He says, fast forward to now, more than 5 months later, you have disqualified me. He's been driving down to Stockholm and CrossFit Nordic 2 to 3 times every week. I have been sleeping at Alexander's place many times. I have gotten the chance to be a part of CrossFit Nordic's community. He says he's been disqualified on what he believes are wrong terms. He says he's angry. He says he's more sad than angry. Lots of emotions go along when you're doing something that you are doing the right way and then you're told you're doing something the wrong way. I already told you that later they were going to bring up something that was important because they thought that maybe this would become an issue. So on the next page, he brings up that they have over 1 gigabytes worth of evidence, pictures, clips, bank transactions, parking tickets, lunch receipts, attendance log, 120 signs from CrossFit Nordic members that they back us. 100%. 120 signs. The evidence that we have provided with you is way more than the rulebook demands. Now, what does that say? The rulebook demanding it. In section 1.14, it says that athletes competing for a team must be active members of the team's affiliate for the duration of the CrossFit Games season. CrossFit team members are required to continue being active members of the team's CrossFit affiliate until the team is eliminated from competition or until the start of the games. In addition to being active members of the team's CrossFit affiliate, teams must all live within 100 miles of the CrossFit affiliate they are representing. If an athlete intends to compete on a team located more than 100 miles from their current residence, they must complete a move to the new residence within 100 miles of that affiliate and be able to document their move, lease, driver's license, etc., no more than January 13, 2022. Should there be any doubt about whether the athlete or the team is meeting the requirements or intent of the affiliate cup competition, CrossFit may at any time during the CrossFit Games season require athletes to produce documentation proving they are indeed meeting the team requirements. Documentation demonstrating the athletes are active members of the team's affiliate should include proof of the following: that they live within 100 miles with the said driver's license, utility bill, etc. Athletes are active members of the affiliate, proving signed waivers, client software management, whiteboard pictures, social media posts, and that the athletes are regularly training at the affiliate. Social media posts, whiteboard pictures, workout tracking software, etc. If a request is made by CrossFit, we'll provide the details as to when the documentation will be needed to be provided. If athletes cannot prove that they meet the requirements stipulated by CrossFit, the team individual athlete may be subject to disqualification. Okay, so through all of that, the documentation has to show that they are within 100 miles, check. The athletes are active members of the affiliate, check. And that they are regularly training at the affiliate, check. And it doesn't say here, but I remember back when we were doing the entire team thing, I was very up to date on the entire team aspect of the rule book. And the big thing there is that you had to spend more time at the affiliate than you spent at other affiliates. It doesn't say that there in this version of the rule book. What it says in this version is that they are regularly training. What does regularly training mean? I guess it's the abstractness of this that's entirely bullshit. So is regularly training one time, two times, like once a week, twice a week? But I did like that it said more than half of the time back in 2017, 2018. That made more sense. It was very cut and dry. Hey, are you there 4 days a week or are you there 3 days a week? Because one is over 50% and one is under 50%. In the case of Viktor, he goes on to say later that he's spending more than 50% of the time here. I believe it's in the next slide. So that they have 40 days backed up by pictures, bank statements, transactions, photos, members, parking tickets. So on the hard drive they sent over, he proved that they have 40 days with the said check-in log on whatever system they use, Wodify, Zenplan, or whatever it might be, but they have over 40 days that also have pictures and parking tickets to show. Now within that, CrossFit on their most recent email said that of the 75 days up until the point there, they had to have had 51% of the training sessions done at CrossFit Nordic. So that's what I talked about, more than 50%. Breaks it down to say that 38 sessions would have sufficed there, and he has proven to them that they have 40, and then even more when you take into account the client tracking software. So although it doesn't say what I was saying, which was it had to be more often than not, you had to be training at the affiliate, and in this case it'd be CrossFit Nordic. It doesn't say that. It says you just has to be spending consistent time spent there, not more than half, but he has proven that even if that were the case, he has more than half with him and his team there. But then on Thursday, the 19th of May, he has a phone conversation that gets even worse. None of this is documented, but it sounds worse, so let's get into the phone conversation. He asked why the attendance log wasn't accepted, because it says in the rule book that you should be able to accept an attendance log. The answer was anybody can take an attendance log. And so why do you even write it in the fucking rule book? It's why are you going to put in the rule book that it's oh yeah, we accept attendance logs, and it's oh, anyone can take an attendance log. Yeah, you're right, anybody can take an attendance log, but then take it out of the rule book. It's confusing. Idiots. CrossFit fucked up. We also asked you about social media, why the material we sent you from our social media wasn't okay. Next answer is, well, social media can be fake as well. It's well, stop saying that it's okay then. It's you freaking idiot. It's not okay. If it's not okay, it's not okay. You're gonna piss off the entire fucking planet if you keep on doing shit like this. It's take it out of the rule book. And if it's in the rule book, you got to accept it. In the end of the call, you say that this is not the idea with the affiliate cup. People driving 90 minutes to the gyms. This is supposed to be for the affiliates. It's what the fuck are you talking about? Do you not understand that one of the teams that you put on the CrossFit Games fucking YouTube page every other day is people from Australia, people from freaking California? It's oh, look at CrossFit Iceland. CrossFit Reykjavík is going to go challenge Mayhem. CrossFit Mayhem, who has people from all over the fucking United States. It's what is wrong wrong with you? Do you not understand what you're saying here? Like, oh my God, you guys are so fucking stupid. Yeah, I understand. It's like the point is to have everybody from a homegrown community. But you know what? When you put out the rules and then you also promote teams like out the ass, like CrossFit Reykjavík and CrossFit Mayhem, I have nothing against what they're doing. All I'm saying is that what they're doing is within the rules. Like, they all showed up, they were at their affiliate when they were supposed to be at their affiliate, but that is also what's happening right here with Viktor and his team. They showed up at their affiliate, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Now, also, I brought up the Justice team, CrossFit Mayhem Justice, right? We have that athlete who's living in Alabama. I don't even remember, is it Jessica Colaglian, whatever her name is? She, by all means, has been doing exactly what Viktor's doing, and probably worse. From what I understand, Viktor has a dickload of evidence right here showing that he has been traveling to the gym more often than not. Per my sources, which I had a few of them, Jessica Coughlin was only there once or twice leading up to the quarterfinals. Maybe she buckled down and spent a lot more time there. Maybe CrossFit doesn't want to get CrossFit Mayhem in trouble, which is okay, whatever. But if it's okay for them, it also has to be okay for them. Not rules for me, but not for thee. Like, come on. Next page. I understand what you mean here, but I still live within 100 miles. We have followed the rules. I also have the same city that I've always lived in. You think that's a problem, but it's okay for people to move across the globe. That's what I just said with CrossFit Reykjavík. They moved across the fucking globe. Why is it okay for them, but it's not okay for Viktor? Why is it okay for CrossFit Reykjavík to live somewhere for 8 months, move back to their home country? It doesn't make any sense. He still lives in the country he's supposed to live in. If anything, everything that you're promoting is way worse than this. End of this, it says that the rule book isn't as clear as it should be. It's like, well, maybe that's your fault. You guys don't say anything ever. When you do, it's abstract and you're lying. It's like, oh, we couldn't do anything about Scott Panchik and his knee. It's like, yeah, you could have done something about Scott Panchik and his knee. You don't think word gets around? Word gets around, guys. You could have done something about Scott Panchik and his knee. It's a complete beta male move. Beta male move. Oh, you know what? We couldn't have done anything, and now we're gonna lie saying that we could have done something. It's like, and now here you're just trying to knock a team off. I don't know why you're trying to knock a team off, and then you're also not talking about it. Next slide says that on May 7th, they received their first email from CrossFit HQ. Please provide us a proof that you live within 100 miles of CrossFit Nordic, are a member, and train regularly at CrossFit Nordic. And then he unloaded the voluminous amount of evidence. And I guess the only thing that I should say here is that if there is due reason that Viktor and his team are being discredited, what is it? Like, CrossFit, tell us what the fucking rules are. If you're saying the rules in the rulebook don't count,
it doesn't matter what you think.
And Viktor's saying he did that and more for his rules. It's like, come on, you gotta tell us something more and more. Make a statement. It's like, oh yeah, they're out because of this. It's like, clearly there's this. And then also, you know what you gotta do? Tell us why CrossFit Mayhem Justice is okay. Tell them why CrossFit Mayhem Justice is okay, but they're not okay. Tell us why it's okay that CrossFit Reykjavík is okay, but they're not okay. And his next page, he brings up the whole innocent until proven guilty. So I don't know like what would make him being proven guilty. Of course, this is just one side of the story, but this one side of the story doesn't appear very good. All right, in a court case, you got a bunch of evidence. Here's a bunch of evidence saying that Viktor and his team were doing exactly what they should have been. They've been planning on doing this thing since 2020. I don't remember where I read it. I believe it was somewhere on social media, but Con Porter was at Wodapalooza leading up to the statement made by the rulebook for CrossFit this year, saying that on January 13th, you had to say, hey, I'm living here. This is my affiliate. I don't think that he got into Iceland until the 15th, and I'm not trying to shit on Con Porter here because I love Con Porter. I like everything that's going on over there. This isn't trying to knock down CrossFit Reykjavík, but CrossFit gave him the go-ahead per whatever post I read, wherever I read on social media. They were okay getting there 2 days after the date because of the travels and the Wodapalooza competition. It's just mind-numbing to me to think that they can allow something like that. Sure, they live there and they're going to be there the whole time and they're not traveling however far. Maybe Con Porter lives in the freaking CrossFit Reykjavík gym. Just what are the rules, guys? What are the rules? The last page, he states that he doesn't think this will change anything. He expected more from a company with their size and width. And as always, the entire goal of me bringing this up is so that hopefully, possibly, there's a change made. They haven't competed yet. They compete next weekend. I suppose that there's a very small chance that they're going to see this video and say, yeah, we fucked up. We can do right by this. We can say, hey, you guys can compete. You guys have done more than enough to show that you can compete. Maybe they finally make a statement in the right way. I'm not saying that they have to let them compete. I'm saying that they have to say why they're not letting them compete. They can't just let this stuff go around on the internet. Social media is a bitch, CrossFit. Do you not understand that someone can post something and then it filters around everywhere and then the entire world's going to see it and all it's doing is eroding at your integrity? The very, very, very least that you can do is make a statement about why they aren't allowed to compete. Why aren't they allowed to compete? If you just do nothing, you're doing that beta male thing and you're hiding. You're hiding.
They think I'm hiding in the shadows.
It's like, oh, we're just going to hope that this thing goes away. Because you know how many times you can let that slide? Not many. You already tried to do it with the erroneous scores. We're not going to let you let that slide. You tried to do it with the rope climb with Scott Panchik. That's not going to go away. So what's the deal with CrossFit Nordic, Viktor, and his team? Why aren't they allowed to compete? Why are they playing within the rules stated by the rule book, and then you're saying that the rules stated in the rule book are vague and they're not the entire picture? Why can't CrossFit Mayhem Justice have an athlete from Alabama with less social media proof than Viktor and his team, which you said social media doesn't even matter?
It doesn't matter!
And I understand this entire thing is hard, but you guys made it hard on yourselves by not letting them go. Like, you should have just let them go. If you're going to let them go, you got to let them go. And if you're going to let Iceland be a thing, you got to let Viktor and his team be a thing. When they disqualified a bunch of teams in the beginning of the year, I believe there was a CrossFit Brazil Mayhem team, and they were just kind of, operating out of affiliates that weren't affiliates. That made sense. They were kind of just everywhere doing whatever they wanted and say, hey, let's put a team together. That makes sense. But in this case, where someone's literally living in their house, to me, it sounds a lot like, hey, I'm driving down the road, I'm going 55 miles an hour, and a cop pulls me over. And he's like, what? You're going too fast. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm going 55 miles an hour. Yeah, but the rules aren't really that clear. We actually wanted you to be going 50. I'm like, well, those guys were going 55 miles an hour. It's like, yeah, well, you drive a fast car. You drive a fast car, so it's likely that you guys were probably going to try to be going faster than 55 miles an hour. So because Viktor and his team are less known, it's more likely that they were cheating. Like, what the hell is this supposed to mean? I don't know. I'm drawing abstract analogies. I'm just going to keep on talking forever. But the gist of it is that I hope in making this, it does something for Viktor and his team. I hope that it helps them break through, get to the next stage. I hope that maybe CrossFit, maybe there's a 10% chance they change their minds and say, hey, you guys, you can still go compete. If I were working for CrossFit and I had to make this decision, I would say, yeah, let them through. We'll make a statement about we're going to let them through. We made a mistake. It might be the first time that they've ever admitted to making a mistake. When you admit your faults, I think it goes much further than just hiding in the shadows and
They think I'm hiding in the shadows.
doing nothing. What do you guys think? Please try to not let this just kind of filter through because of the semifinals going on this weekend. Let's try to get Viktor and CrossFit Nordic Original to the CrossFit Games, at least to the semifinals. They have had to then make their way to the games. It's on them at that point. Put it on them. Andrew Hiller, out.